Katie said you need to get Lydia on here if you want to talk about women's lib.
Oh, I would love that. I would love to make the gambit.
I feel like I'm not able to convey my thoughts well enough.
No,
So
no. This is a gift.
it was.
Oh, yes. This bottle was a gift from Kyle, guest of the podcast.
Guess of the pod.
It's all gone now, Kyle. We need more.
I guess we're going to have him on.
Yeah, we're going to have him on.
What's it called?
It's still Austin Rye.
Still Austin.
Rye.
So this is a cast strength rye. Are you a whiskey drinker, Jan?
No, I think I've tasted whiskey once or twice, but I don't know how to drink it.
Do you need that cut with something? Do you need a little water in there? Cut it down to 35%?
What's the point of this exactly?
Of whiskey?
Libations.
Yes.
Like-
It depends on how delicate your palate is.
I think it's not too bad. Not too shabby.
Oh.
Well, used to make my own wine,
Oh, really?
and I really wanted to get a still. Can I say that?
No, I also
Are
made
you admitting to
I
crimes?
made a home.
No, it's
No.
not a crime if you don't sell it.
It's a desire to.
Yeah.
I've gone down that rabbit trail and made my own still. Had somebody else try the first batch because I was like, I don't want to go blind. But it turned out all right. We, made a guess it was like an apple mash.
The thing is, you have to pull the head and the tail. You just keep the heart when you're stilling.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want
Which
to
is-
drink that
This
first.
is the problem with Applejack or freezing in order to concentrate. You don't actually take out the head or the tail. So you get the extra, like the methanols and I'm not sure the exact alcohols, but they're the thing that give you the terrible hangovers.
I did it one time, Amos, and I was like, this is a lot of work for a little bit of.
Want to hear a funny story about a still? Okay. Friend of mine who would be about 100 years old if she was still alive was telling me her father was a fire station operator or something in the Ouachita Mountains back during the Depression. And they had a telegraph. And once a day, they had to report in if they noticed any smoke from forest fires.
Okay.
And so her family lived out in the mountains. And they had a special code. The operators had a special code if they noticed smoke that was coming up from a still. If they knew it was a still, so they would report in a certain way what they saw in a certain area. And then everybody would kind of like nod, wink, wink, or whatever.
Wink,
How
wink.
about that?
Leave a bottle on the porch.
Something like that.
Prohibition era.
Oh, yeah.
And for your wedding, we were talking about your wedding because we had so many people who didn't drink. And we had some people who expected some alcohol. And so we had homemade wine and we had some beer at the wedding. And I was telling this to our home church group. I said, yes, we're going to have some alcohol. And we're not going to, make a big deal about it. And we have everything we need except we don't have any moonshine.
What's a wedding without moonshine?
That's a wedding without moonshine. And 2 weeks later, we had services at our house again. And the last few people left. They went out the front door, and I said goodbye to them on the front porch. And as I was shutting the front door, someone knocked on the back door. And I went to the back door, and there was nobody there, but there was a little paper bag there with a mason jar in it, and it had moonshine in it.
Admit who it was?
Well, I know who it was. I know who it was, and because we used to talk about having a still or whatever.
What do you think it is with Christians and drinking? Is this just my own father kind of made an offhanded comment. We grew up Baptist, and I guess Terrell was on the podcast and talked about drinking or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And he made an offhand comment that I don't really talk to him that often, but he said something about your pastor drinks and smokes cigars. And I was like, well, no, not like habitually, but it was definitely context. It was around a campfire. It was
Special occasions.
special occasion.
The Bible tells us to not be drunkards.
Right.
Well, what are the other scriptures about drinking though?
I mean,
It's
All things
For
in
grief.
moderation.
For grief,
Give a sorrowful man strong drink. Oh, a little wine.
a little wine. Yeah, so it would be health reasons. But anything in excess, of course, would be wrong.
It's only caused more destruction than any drug in history.
Yes, and there are so many people that have sort of a genetic preponderance to
Addiction.
being ruined, yes,
Yeah.
with an addiction.
I mean, so my dad's very anti-alcohol, and he was raised in a church that was anti-alcohol, drinking, and playing cards. Anti-alcohol, dancing,
and dancing, and the playing cards things too,
and playing cards. But the church was founded by a bunch of drunken Swedes that realized that alcohol's bad; it's making us do bad things, so we're not going to do that anymore. And that's the roots of the church.
Okay,
and that he was raised in.
And I don't disagree with it either. I to an extent, yeah, alcohol is very bad. Like,
well, so
is sugar.
In the Bible,
right?
Jesus performed miracles, including turning water into wine.
Yeah.
And I remember Stuart talking to friends at a church gathering we went to about that. And these women at this table, they shouted him down. They were totally against alcohol because they believed like one sip of alcohol was the road to damnation. And okay,
gateway drug.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
You'll be freebasing crack before you know it.
I know it's. It just really reminds me of, I guess, really Paul talking about it in the Bible, right? There's definitely, he goes into talking about what may be considered a sin for myself may not be considered a sin for my brother, and kind of talking about everyone has their own convictions and with regards to walking through that salvation. But so many times we're not even going back to the core message of Jesus, talking about the speck in your brother's eye when you can't even see the
beam in your own.
The beam in your own. But Paul definitely leans to, hey, if you're going to do something and it's going to cause your brother to stumble, then don't do that.
Right.
I definitely stand behind that message. And by any means, if you see me out and about having a cocktail, my intent is not to make you stumble. And that goes with really anything. I mean,
but you're not shoving a glass of alcohol in front of a alcoholic's face.
Right.
We're covering alcoholic's face.
Why do you drink? I mean, I was a really serious kid.
Yeah.
And my family didn't drink, and it wasn't for religious reasons. They just didn't.
Yeah.
And I think grandma and mom might share a beer once in a blue moon. And of course, that stuff just tasted rotten to a kid.
Yeah.
But we didn't drink, so I didn't drink. And then
culturally,
well, I went to live in South Africa, and everyone had cocktail hour, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything about it, so I questioned it. Being a very serious child and young person, I just questioned, why do we do this? So I'm asking you, why do you drink? What is this? Why do you do this?
Me personally?
Yes, you personally.
I do enjoy the feeling that it gives you. I enjoy the taste.
Yes, okay.
I will say there is something about that first sip of something hard. It's just I feel it very quickly, but then I maintain.
Well, I just had 2 sips. Maybe I had 3, and I'm feeling that nice little warmth.
Yes.
It has a very nice aroma.
Quickly.
I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah. We did a bourbon episode last Christmas, where we took the smallest amounts of bourbon and tried different.
It was a tasting.
A taste.
So it was
very, very small amounts.
Nice.
Jonathan brought in 12, 15 bottles.
Did you spit it out or did you swallow?
We did swallow.
We did swallow, but
we were just nipping at it. But it was I think over the course of 3.5 hours, I had 2.5 shots total.
Yeah. And it was very educational. It was I thought it was tasteful with regards to how we were approaching it. Jonathan was very interesting in talking about the history because he did know the history of bourbon and
as was Kyle.
As well, yeah. And so,
who gave us this lovely bottle?
There's definitely
nice.
history to it. I think I like to think that, and this could just be chopping it up to recent American history because it goes back even further, but some sort of Puritan influences spread across this country, that it became culturally unacceptable, and especially Prohibition probably didn't help any. I think it definitely probably spread after Prohibition ended.
Well, Prohibition, I mean, I guess if you want to get conspiratorial about it, like there's the oil companies and because Henry Ford, I believe, wanted to have every farm have its own still to make their own fuel. And oil companies weren't going to have that. At least that's the conspiracy theory that my dad told me as I was growing up. And then somehow the oil companies got involved in his manufacturing line so that parts weren't working. And so then he had to knock it off and just go with
I
oil.
have to look that up.
True or not, I don't know. It's what I grew up hearing. Where was I going with this? Prohibition, right. There was a whole lot of distillation. Common distillation was very new in the late 1800s for it to be so freely available, and people were just getting blasted. Like guys were not taking care of it. It's kind of like the opium dens in China, where no one was large swaths of individuals were not being productive, and it was ruining households, and that's why women got so behind.
And gin, would this be in the 17th century? I believe gin was what was called like mother's ruin or something. And I remember reading about Hans Christian Andersen's mother was a washerwoman, and she had to wash clothes in the cold water in Copenhagen or whatever. She had to wash, and she was poor, and she had to do all this work, and she had terrible arthritis, and she was in pain, so she drank to ease her pain. And it just sounds, we just think, oh, I'm glad I didn't live back then, but...
I mean, I don't know, you could have laudanum.
Laudanum?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have much money, so some cheap alcohol was probably more affordable for poorer people.
I think it's the heroin and the laudanum that did it for people.
Probably because then they got addicted and they had to have it. And women, had to have it.
And it was good cough syrup for your children. Put them right to bed.
Terrible, terrible. Well, my mother said that when Coca-Cola was first made, it had what?
Cocaine.
Cocaine in it?
Yeah.
When she was a child, she would go to Georgia to visit relatives, and her uncle was a shareholder in Coca-Cola. And there was a little refrigerator in the kitchen, and the children were encouraged to get a bottle of Coke whenever they wanted because it was a health tonic.
Wouldn't that
This was in the 30s.
That would be an upper, though. I don't know if the Coke was still in there by the 30s. Cocaine was still in there by the 30s.
She seemed to think it was because she was appalled.
Well, technically, there's still cocaine in it. But
really?
As a flavoring.
As a flavoring?
Yeah. Like all the narcotic is extracted.
Right.
And it's just the flavoring. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong about this, but I believe Coca-Cola is the only company that's allowed to commercially bring in.
I need to take notes. I'm going to have to go home and look all this up because I like to fact check.
Well, it's very interesting because I think at that point, once they separate it out, it goes to the U.S. government to go somewhere. But
there's certain things we can't say. We'll get tossed off of YouTube. Well,
yeah.
Should we?
So
should we introduce our guest?
Yeah. Welcome back.
Hi. Cheers.
Cheers. So a little antidote as you're sipping your bourbon whiskey drink over there.
That wasn't an introduction. It was like, hi, cheers.
I have been here before. They think you know me.
My mother-in-law, my favorite mother-in-law, Jane.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, as you were.
The Scottish were actually inventing like crazy up until they invented alcohol. Yeah, whiskey.
No, they kept inventing after that.
Possibly, but there was definitely a drop off after the introduction. That's the antidote.
When was that? When was whiskey invented or produced or something? And again, I'm in my Scottish phase, so I'm
okay.
What does that mean?
A Scottish. I get in touch with my roots, my Scots-Irish roots, and I don't know. I just keep getting kilt videos coming up on different feeds.
That they wear under a kilt.
What?
Socks and shoes.
Oh, thanks. Ha ha ha.
1494 is what Google claims as
94.
The invention of distillation.
yeah.
When did it become prevalent? Then?
Wow, what did they do before that?
They drank
Questions. I
wine,
have questions.
Mead.
wine and beer.
Mead.
They were probably making Applejack for a while too, or like freeze distillation.
Yeah.
That far north, they must have.
Very, very interesting. Just, I mean, the reason that we call it spirits. I heard one guy explain it that, in ancient cultures, you would pull your harvest, and if you had excess, obviously, once you would donate it to your local gods or whatever, right? Obviously, this is more of a pagan culture.
Like poured onto the ground.
Yeah, yeah, and but with that excess, if you left it there and it rotted and fermented, then it would turn into spirits.
Well, not on its own, not laying on the ground.
Right.
So the oldest, I believe, one of the oldest recipes in the world is beer. It's like
Beer?
5,000 years old.
Gotta
Like
be.
we've been making alcohol for a long time.
Okay.
Because like over in South Africa with the marula plant, like the animals go out and eat that thing because it self ferments on the ground,
Yes.
and you'll see drunken elephants and monkeys walking around.
Yes, and we used to drink a type of beer, amahevu,
What's it
the
called?
African beer.
Really?
Amahevu.
Yeah. You want to keep out talking about alcohol? Or you
I want to keep
separate
on
those?
talking about Africa.
How did you get to Africa?
How did I get to Africa? Oh, let me reach back into the dim recesses of the old brain here. Grew up in Ohio, went to college, decided that I was going to go overseas. And again, was very interested in British history, Scottish things Scottish because of my family. And I had some sort of longing for all of that. So after college, I had a little bit of money in the bank. I was on the 5-year plan. I worked my way through college. And I decided that I had better go now. I thought, if I don't go overseas now, I'll never go. I'll never have the money. I'll never have the time. And that was pretty accurate. So I took my money and I went overseas. And that's where I met Alan, my first husband.
Okay.
And we met in London. He was a South African. And he was going to come to Canada, to Toronto, to study. But it all fell through. He had to go back home. He was needed. His family were farmers in southern Africa. And so we were in love. And I told my mom, I said, well, I'm going to go over there, for 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back. But I didn't come back. I stayed.
Oh, no.
We got married and I stayed there. And I loved it. And this was in 1981. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Things were very different. And it was just beautiful. I loved it.
Oh, I bet.
And of course, I lived in the city and I worked at a private girls' school. Can I give them a plug?
Yeah.
Durban Girls College.
Hey-o.
Out there? Hello, Durban Girls College. Remember me?
Wait, you went to South Africa before you got married, or?
Yes, before. And I was married there because I didn't think we were going to stay there. I thought, America's the best country in the world, right?
I'm back, yeah.
That we would come back here. So I thought, well, I'll get married there. It's something for his family to remember and then we're going to emigrate, whatever. And that didn't happen. And I lived there for 11 years.
Huh.
And I lived in Johannesburg, which is eThekwini now, I believe. That's the Zulu name. And then I lived in Johannesburg, Egoli, city of gold. And I loved it. And again, I met a lot of people of Scottish descent. The Scots played a big part in that country's development. The history of that country is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, I bet.
And met people. I learned a little bit of Zulu, lived amongst the Zulu people. And Sotho, Southern Sotho, and had some friends who were, one friend who was Tswana, from Botswana. And since coming back to the States too, I've met people who lived there, who loved it. Met some ex-military people here who were stationed over there for a while. And I never thought that a place like that could get under my skin, but it did. I loved it. I love the mountains and the cool weather and trees, deciduous trees. And
When you say get under your skin, you don't mean that negatively.
no, I don't mean it negatively. I mean it like there's a desire to go back
Under your
here.
bones.
Yes. And I always say a part of my heart is South African. I am not South African. I'm American, because people here think I'm South African because I live there and I like to speak about it. But no, I'm American. But a part of my heart is South African, for sure. Kind of miss it, and the beauty and I think I love the drama of the weather in anywhere in the world. I love the drama of the weather. It's like a friend coming to visit, and it was magnificent over there. I never thought I could love a place that was desert-like or savanna-like. The heat, the wild animals. We had part of that, although I did live in the city. I had to go out to go into the game reserves or some.
It has a lot of different climates, though, right?
It does. It has a lot of different climates, and the Cape is very different. Table Mountain.
I think just the continent of Africa is so misunderstood. I mean, most Americans would say, "Oh, it's Africa. That's a whole country, right?"
So people, Americans are very insular, and they can be
speak for yourself.
Deprecating. No, Americans are very insular. We only know about America.
When you were traveling, didn't you tell people you were Canadian?
Oh, yes. Oh,
really?
well, yes. Americans are embarrassing. And I told my mother that, and she was mad at me, and she had her own experiences when she came to visit in South Africa, and she goes, I know exactly how you feel. But the first time I did that, I was in Greece. And again, I was backpacking, so I was traveling on the cheap. And
staying in hostels.
Staying in youth hostels, and I was on a little tiny ship. I'm not sure what the ship was carrying, but on the deck were all the backpackers, and we were traveling pretty cheap to go to an island, probably Santorini. And these American college kids got on, and I was only just out of college myself, and these kids got on, and they were so embarrassing.
Just obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
Yeah.
Insulting, loud, rude. And anybody who's ever traveled overseas, no matter who you are, you feel like this about your own people. I've talked to people from other countries, and when they've traveled, they feel the same way. They're a little embarrassed. It's a naivete, perhaps, when you travel.
Yeah.
And a lack of experience. You are what you were at home.
Right.
These people, they were so loud and obnoxious, carrying on, flirtatious, all the things that I was not. And I turned to the people I was with, and I don't remember where they were from at all, but I just looked at them and I said, I'm Canadian. If anybody asks, with this accent, I'm Canadian. I was just so embarrassed to be an American.
Huh.
And my mother had the same experience. She was in South Africa visiting. They were in the Cape, and they stayed at a Holiday Inn and went for dinner, and there was a buffet table, and she said this busload of Americans came in, and all they were doing was complaining, ew, look at this food, and my room just isn't up to snuff, and oh, this is so substandard. And my mother, who was watching all this, apparently she turned to this one woman and she said, well, if you don't like it, why don't you just get back on your bus and go back to America? It's like typical mom. And she said, and now I understand what you were talking about.
Yeah, we lived in Asia. And so what we found is we quickly got over the, yes, we're American, and jumped straight to Texan. And they
I like it.
They actually responded better and recognized that almost as equally as Americans.
That's another thing.
Like they do say, like, Americans are ignorant of the rest of the world, but when you ask the rest of the world about America, it's just California, Texas, and New York. There's nothing else in between.
That's another point. They think we're all the same.
Maybe Florida.
I spent a lot of time telling people that we're very different.
Yeah.
And they just didn't get that at all. And so many people say, oh, you're American. I'm going to go to America to visit. I've got 2 weeks. We're going to go to New York, and then we're going to go to New Orleans. Then we're going to go to California and see the Grand Canyon.
Sure you are.
Go to Chicago. And I'm like, whoa, you can't do that in 2 weeks. Why not? How do you explain that? Africans kind of understand that because Africa's a big continent.
Yeah.
Oh, and the map. I mean, the Mercator map doesn't doesn't do it justice. That's the map style that everyone has.
Yes.
Where Greenland's massive up here. It's about the same. It's about half the size of Africa. No,
Africa's huge.
yeah, Africa
Africa's like
is gigantic.
And if you've ever been to like someplace like Great Britain or a European country, like Slovenia is one country I would like to visit. And I believe Slovenia is like the size of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
This would be smaller than Texas.
Most of the European countries. I mean, England is the size of Pennsylvania.
Wow. And they, my English friends, when they would come to visit, they would want to go somewhere and do something. And I would plan all our little trips, but we could not drive for more than 4 hours. They would not drive for more than 4 hours. I'm like, this is America.
I might have to add Slovenia to my bucket list.
Oh,
It's
you
beautiful.
should.
Childish Gambino song. This is America.
And I would like to go to Croatia too and go along the coast.
I would.
Beautiful
So
country.
one of Katie's bucket list things would be to get a sailboat and sail the northern coast of the Mediterranean
Oh my gosh.
from like Spain to Israel.
Yes. I would love to do that. I'd like to take a train across Russia, but not right now. And I would love to do like the spice route.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called? There's another name for it, which is has a bad connotation.
Yeah, I know.
Spice route.
The silk.
The
Silk Road.
The Silk Road. And by that, I mean the physical, geographical Silk Road. Meet the people, taste the food, learn to cook, dress like they dress.
One of my favorite movies is the Murder on the Orient Express. And I've always wanted to do that with my wife once the kids are older, is to just, and it's quite expensive to do it right. But hey, it's a once in a lifetime adventure through Europe all the way to Asia. I think it would be awesome.
Yes, I did too. I'll come with you.
Okay, you can come.
I would. Look, that's on my wish list
We're
to do
taking this
something like that.
Podcast International.
Hey now, I will go down rabbit holes of YouTubers that get sponsorships to go review these.
Yes, hello, here we are.
I know it. I'm like, you can pay me all day to ride. I mean, and there's actually quite a few in America as well that, you know, if you're feeling fancy, you want to go from New York to LA, you can take the long way and take a train.
I've considered that because I'm ready for something like that. I would love to go across Canada by train.
That would be fun.
Oh, I love trains. I love train travel. And I would really like to go back to Great Britain and Scotland, of course.
I think that is a mode of transportation that is definitely, I mean, we need to bring it back.
The thing is, it's expensive though.
It is.
Well, let's
And
make
it's like
it
you can
less
fly so much faster.
Oh, but flying is not fun anymore.
I enjoy flying.
Really?
I do. We're going to New York in a couple weeks, and
How many linking flights do you have though? That's the real downside.
at most one. Probably from Houston to New York's going to be
Amos,
a single leg.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you this as a person that's been flying since I was probably 2 years old. You just recently started flying and leaving the country. There is a sense of longing of just like taking the long way to get there and just like jumping. I mean, getting on a train.
I understand the appeal to a train.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a nice bus. Or it's got all the positives of a bus without the negatives.
Well, somebody just told me they have luxury bus or coach routes in the United States. Somebody just mentioned that to me.
It'd be awesome. Because
I need to
I get it.
look that up.
I get it. But flying to me is not that bad. I find flying somewhat peaceful and nice.
I kind of like the challenge of it. Like, I haven't flown for a long time. I think it was
It does help that I'm flying with Will, who's a hiker experienced traveler.
Yeah.
Like he knows all the mistakes not to make.
That does help.
He's taught me well.
I've traveled by myself though, like solo women flying. It's difficult.
Yeah.
And my big takeaway is don't take anything with you. Take one bag that you can handle.
Right.
Because you're flexible and you can do things. But I flew to Iceland in 2016. That was fun.
Yeah.
And Iceland's great. They love tourists. They kind of cater to tourists. And I had read that one way to overcome jet lag is don't go to sleep.
Yeah, you don't go to sleep when you get there. You wait till it's 9.
So I got on the plane and napped a little bit overnight and arrived at like midnight our time, 1 a.m., but it was morning over there. And then I walked. Took the bus to the train station or whatever, the bus station, and I dumped my bags. And then I walked. So I walked miles into the city and did a little tour, spent the day, went to the spa that night, the hot mineral pools that they have. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, I want to live here. I want to do this every night after work.
I know it's just traveling abroad. It really puts your own little world in perspective to be like, oh, we're doing it wrong.
Well, and there's so many beautiful places in the world
There are.
that are just like,
But here
gorgeous.
in America, like if I want to travel here, where do I go and how do I get there? I know there's Mississippi cruises now.
Mm-hmm.
There's Alaska cruises. Train across America, that might be an idea.
maybe you need a motorcycle.
A motorcycle. I have a motorcycle.
That's true. You do have a motorcycle.
I have a motorcycle.
We need to get that thing running.
I would love to, Amos. I would love to.
Get one with a little sidecar.
Oh,
Little 1974 BMW Airhead.
Yeah.
It's a sidecar.
my gosh. Wouldn't that be fun?
I
Or
think
maybe
so.
you need
Let's
a
do that.
Goldwing trike.
Probably.
With a stereo
Yeah,
system.
sadly, I'm kind of at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
We live in the area where Christian motorcycles are based,
CMA.
the CMA.
Okay.
And I believe that this is their weekend, the changing of the colors coming up. And so on our way out of town, driving here for a visit to my wonderful son-in-law, my favorite son-in-law,
Oh, my favorite mother-in-law.
we passed so many cool motorcycles and motorcycles with sidecars. So, gee, I hadn't thought about that, Amos.
Stability. I mean, you can still get plastered on one of them.
What? Oh, my gosh.
They are safer because you're less likely to fall over on a train.
Well, I had a bad motorcycle accident when I was, 26? I think, in Africa on a dirt bike.
What are you doing on a dirt bike?
My darling brother-in-law got a new dirt bike. He got this fantastic Kawasaki dirt bike. And we went out and he let me ride his bike. If you guys are into motorcycles at all, you know that that's like a really special thing to be allowed to ride somebody's new motorbike. But we were out in the bush and we were going through the dongas, the ditches, and I froze. I just froze with my hands on the handlebars, and I opened it right up. Instead of braking, I opened it right up and shot through this ditch up into the air. And I did it a second time. I was frozen with fear and did it again, and I went airborne. And yes, yeah, I know. It was really stupid. I'm sorry, but I was...
Don't be sorry.
When you're inexperienced, your brother-in-law, like, you don't put someone in a situation like that.
You should talk to Gregory because he had to watch what happened.
Did you come out unscathed?
I did, by the grace of God. Thank you, God, because and your friend Michael, who is in the movies, who's an actor, he and I talked about this, and I said, I know what it's like to fly. And it was awesome. And as I was flying, of course, I thought I was going to die. But before I died, I actually knew what it was like to fly like a bird because I was just going up and up and up and up and up and up and up into the air. And we would have to ask Gregory how far I went because it felt almost endless. It was beautiful. It was fantastic.
Until you came down.
Well, then I started to, what do you call that? When you reach the apex and the energy starts to fall off. And so I started to drop a little bit. And as I was dropping, I could feel that I was going to go head over heels. I was starting to spin. And heels were coming up over my head. So I fought like this through the air. And I fought with everything I had in me to keep my head up. To keep going. And I prayed to God. I said, please, God, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And I prayed. And I landed in a bramble bush. Okay. That was like 10 foot wide. 10 foot square. And these brambles were probably about 6 feet deep. So it's like something from the fairy tale of Rapunzel or something. Something that we don't see here. It was this huge, thick bramble bush. So I fell into that and I got jammed into it, sort of sitting sitting cross-legged like this. I got jammed right down in there, but it basically broke my fall. I messed up my back, which I didn't even go to the hospital after that. 2 or 3 days later, I couldn't even walk, but I'm paying for it now.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to fly, and God bless me, I didn't die. And poor Gregory had to extricate me from that thing. He had to like break the brambles and stuff to get me out of there, a thicket or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But you'll have to ask Gregory. And didn't wreck the bike.
That's good.
Didn't damage
Yeah,
the
that's
bike.
good.
Is the bike okay?
That was
always
so important.
highest priority.
Yes,
Is the bike okay?
it has priority. So when you talk about getting on a motorcycle, I'm slightly hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly, because I don't really need another head injury or back injury.
So you definitely mentioned recognizing that Americans coming over abroad were annoying and obnoxious and didn't want to necessarily, self-admit that you were an American. And what other cultural differences, though, did you notice in Africa and in your travels? I mean, anything that necessarily sticks out that...
You mean like culture shock?
Yeah.
Culture
Just
shock?
general culture shock.
Well, we did mention the drinking. Like my family didn't grow up having cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
And dress was very different, more formal.
Really?
And I worked at a private school. And at that time in the 80s, for an event like a graduation or a church service or something, a big event at the school, I wore a hat and gloves.
Okay.
A dress and a hat and gloves, dressed up a little bit. And things were there. I think one of the biggest things was language. Because I as a child, I always wondered what we sounded like as Americans. What do I sound like? Do I have an accent? I don't have an accent.
Very Midwestern.
Yeah. But how do you know that? How do you know what you sound like? Well, I went overseas, and again, I feel like God really blessed me because I was able to kind of notice what the difference was, what I sounded like. And I was fascinated by the fact that the English-speaking people I was with in Southern Africa had a great command of the English language. And they just spoke so much better than we
You
did.
think that's from the British influence?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Were you primarily around British or Afrikaans?
Primarily British. I had some Afrikaans friends, and I had some overseas friends who had moved there, people I worked with. I had friends who were Greek. I had my English brother, John. He came from England. He emigrated when he was a young man and had lived there, married, had a son. And people thought we were brother and sister because we both had weird accents. He was originally a Cockney, and here I am with this accent. So people thought, and we looked similar, so people thought we were brother and sister. So that was an interesting dynamic going on there, but more formal, I suppose. And the Afrikaans people with whom I dealt, I got on very well with them because I was a Christian and, from a Christian home. And they were all very, very Christian people, very church-going people.
What church? What is
The Dutch Reformed Church.
Okay.
Most of them, as far as I can tell. And then, let's see. One of my African friends was a Christian, and she suffered a lot of persecution.
Really?
An awful lot of persecution.
For
being a Christian.
For who was persecuting her?
Their church group was persecuted. This is, again, I have to reach back and remember all this stuff. But other Africans who were non-Christians
I see.
persecuted them. And also, there was a lot of trouble back then, back in the 80s. This is before Nelson Mandela was released from prison, and there was a lot of trouble. Black people who worked for white people were intimidated. And my one friend went through an awful lot because she was determined to keep working.
Yeah. What is the competing religions in that area, you think? I mean, is a lot of is witch doctor? Is that what would you throw that? What kind of religion would you throw that into?
Well, a traditional African way of life. The witch doctors kind of ruled the roost. They certainly weren't Christians.
Right.
The Christians did make inroads, and then there was, I can't remember the name of the African church. And the Anglicans, most of the British were Anglicans, but there were other little subgroups. Scots Presbyterians.
Yeah.
And then, there was a Greek Orthodox.
So traditional European denominations.
Yes, because there were a lot of immigrants. A lot of immigrants to Southern Africa from European nations.
I apologize. I'm just purely ignorant with regards to that part of the world. But I mean, what type of governmental structure? Are they free to an extent of like?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I
like America free?
Well, that's the problem. Is
it a democracy?
Is it a democracy?
Well,
we have a
democracy is mob rule. So,
is it a republic? Is it a?
I must admit I don't actually know what it is now because there's a big difference between now and what I experienced when I was there in the 80s. It was then the Republic of South Africa, and it had a parliament and a president.
But I mean, calling yourself a republic, I mean, the North Korea calls itself a republic. So that's a label, but like in structure, like what actually is it? And I'm not saying or not. I'm just saying that like
I'm just curious because you hear stories about warlords and warring tribes and all.
Well, in Africa in general, you mean, or
in general?
Yeah,
right. What? So I don't know necessarily.
I mean, South Africa is definitely more democratic,
right,
than other African nations.
What I've heard.
South Africa, being such a large place, has different regions. Like the Cape region is completely different. I have friends and relatives who live in the Cape province.
Okay,
it's like saying Texas, maybe.
Okay,
and they have a coalition government of people of different races and different beliefs, and they seem to work better than some of the other provinces. And South Africa, a friend of mine who was in her 90s, back then when I lived there, she told me, in her opinion, a lot of the problems in Southern Africa occurred because of the gold mines and the diamond mines, that the men were taken out of their homes out in rural areas, and they were taken to these unnatural conditions, living in hostels with other men and working for a living in a gold mine or a diamond mine. I've been in a gold mine 3 miles under the ground, and the men who worked there, it was a warrior culture.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do it. To go, when you're that far underground, you're feeling a pressure on your body, and then to go in a tunnel in to go right up to the rock face. They call it the reef. That's the gold that comes down on an angle into the ground, coming deeper and deeper and deeper. So the mines were cut into that, into the reef, and these men would go right up to the reef, and we're in there with pickaxes, mining the gold ore. And the pressure is pretty terrific. It's dark, it's really dirty, and it's super intense. It takes you a long time to get down there. It takes you a long time to get out. Yeah. And then there's the mental thing. So it was like
the sun.
Imagine if you're claustrophobic.
Yeah. So it was pretty difficult for me, but I was determined to go because I wanted to see what it was like. But my friend said that she believes that was part of the problem because men were taken away from their homes. They lived in a natural situation. And then kinship is very important to African people. The rules, the mores, and the regulations of your family relationship. So these men now left their wives at home to go and earn money, and then they took what we might call a town wife. But those children from the town wife did not belong to the family. And I have never discussed this with anybody really, and I don't know what an ethnologist or ethnographer would think about this.
Was our multiple wives like culturally acceptable to them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it was. If you had the money, that's what you would do. You would get more wives and have more children, and each wife has her own home. But my friend talked about the gold and the diamond mines is creating an unnatural situation where there was no family structure, and the children who were born from these relationships had no right.
So they were
They had no name. They were bastards, yes, and they had no rights. And I'm like, these are things that I never thought about growing up.
Yeah.
And so it's so completely different. And but I met so many lovely people. A friend of mine who was from England, she'd come over when she was a child in the 20s and lived there. And she loved the African people. She'd grown up with them. And she said, they were simple people, like a peasant people. And I can relate to that because I felt like that was like my grandmother. She grew up in a different time. And so I was in a different position. I was not South African. I'm American. And I was interested in people, all colors. But I have not been back since the late 90s. So I don't know what it's like. My nephew's been back, and he tells me there's a growing middle class and that the Black people are striving for the same things that all of us are striving for in this country: a job, money, prestige, a home. So
Western ideals.
Yep, that's the word that was coming to mind. Western ideals, and I don't know how good that is. I know there's a return. There are a lot of people there who want to return to the ways of their ancestors. Like we have people here who are going, what do you call it, back to the land or something.
Trough grid.
Trad wives.
Yeah, trad wives. Neo-Luddites, which I think I might be one. I don't know.
All these labels.
These labels. We don't need labels. Okay?
Put me in a box. I'm an anarchist. No.
Nonconformist.
Even that.
Don't clip that. I'm not an anarchist.
Even the word anarcho, what's it called?
Capitalism?
Anarcho-libertarian or something. I'm like, wait a minute.
I do think we need that on a shirt that says, don't put me in a box. I'm an anarchist.
Okay. We'll be working.
Don't you label me. I'm an anarchist.
Now I think it's fascinating.
Didn't they have like a cultural aspect too there where if you were well-to-do or had money that it was your duty to hire people for like home service and...
Well, yes, because I didn't grow up with a maid in the house. Not at all. And so I went to live there. We moved to this city, and I didn't have a maid, and I couldn't find a babysitter for my children at all. In the evening, just because things were very dangerous, couldn't find a babysitter. And I was with some South African women, and they said that to me. Oh, typical American. You just look down your nose at us. You're too good to even hire any of our people to work for you. Because I didn't have a maid. And I'm like, what? And I had to completely readjust my way of thinking. So, there you hired people to do work for you, to do many things. You provided jobs for people if you were able.
Yeah. It's very similar in Asia as well. I remember several instances growing up in different Asian countries where we would have helpers. And they didn't necessarily ever live with us or anything, but it was being our role living in another country as missionaries. It definitely gave another avenue to showcase, hey, we're just normal people, and really kind of witness to those folks as well.
Did you have servants in your home?
No, we never had necessarily servants.
Was that a dirty word?
Servants? I mean, it's better than...
Why should it be a dirty word though? Because it's a job. And to serve, you just do your job. Like one of my favorite movies is Gosford Park with the very famous line at the end. The woman says, Of course, I'm a servant. I'm the perfect servant.
Uh-huh.
I know what they want before they need it themselves, before they know themselves. And she's talking about being a good servant.
Yeah.
And we're servants, right? We serve each other. We see a need, we should fill it, right? We should help each other.
I mean,
But if that's your job,
yeah.
you should just do it. I had a friend whose father was in the British Army, quite high up in the British Army, and they lived in what was then Burma, which was invaded by the Japanese, and she had to leave. She was a child. She and her brother and her mother had to leave, and then her father fought the Japanese forces there at the time. But she said they had, I can't remember, they had a huge contingent of servants in their home. And she said it drove her mother crazy because her mother wasn't raised like that. She was a poorer English person from that, the earlier part of the 20th century. But she said with her father's position, they were expected to have all these servants in their home. That shows your status.
Culturally, yeah.
That's your status. But then, of course, you're providing jobs for these people. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going to shut down movies and books about things like this. It existed. And again, I don't think we can just label this by saying, oh, it's paternalism or something like that.
Yeah.
Look, it existed. And Americans have no idea how big the rest of the world is and the need that people have. Food, medicine, hygiene. There's a need everywhere. It's not just like it is here.
Right.
We are so blessed.
I was watching, as you do, just kind of thumbing through either YouTube or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it was this personality that went to a butler school in London to learn how to become like a legit butler. And like the training was very, very intense. I think it was like obviously very dramatized for the aspect of the show, but and it was, it had to have been probably a couple years old, and it was just kind of interesting to think that these guys that were going into that profession to be a professional butler for, Fortune 500 companies or whatever the case may be. And they took their job very, very seriously. But you're right. It's a matter of just like, you could be a very, very high paid butler, but it takes a special skill, I think, almost to be that anticipatory.
It's also like
someone's needs.
Devotional honor.
Yeah.
Thing.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, devotional honor.
But I can relate to that. I feel like I might have some of those qualities because I observe things that other people don't seem to notice.
You're a little persnickety.
Persnickety?
A little bit.
I'm persnickety.
Yeah.
I still love you, Amos.
I say that with all love.
Yes. He said, look at him. He's
I'm
blushing.
also
He's blushing, and he says, I say that with love.
That's the alcohol.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. That was really good, by the way. It has notes of tobacco and
it's a very nice rye.
Yes,
very
it's
nice
very
rye.
good.
Not a sponsor.
But
Yes.
I like to do things for people. Like I like to entertain.
Yeah.
Call it entertain, but I'm serving you. I like to serve you food, and if I find out something's your specialty, I'll cook it for you or do something for you. I like to do that, and I guess that's why that scene in Gosford Park really spoke to me, because I am usually able to anticipate people's needs and provide it, to know what they need before they may need it themselves, and it drives certain people crazy that I can do that. That I can do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that like an American thing that they're driven crazy, or?
No, it's just me.
Oh,
driving people crazy.
Gotcha.
I think modern Christians need to really embrace the message of being a servant and the calling of being a servant, even with regards to, and I'll go ahead and throw our men's group into the mix. We were having a discussion about food for an upcoming retreat, and it was brought up that, maybe some of us men might want to cook for the other men, and to actually, like, I find a lot of value in serving someone food or preparing food for them, and it's just it's enriching.
Fulfilling,
Yeah,
enriching.
yeah. There's something to that. I think but another member of the council, if you will, the men's group,
A men's council.
kind of shot it down very quickly and was like, well, we've got it in the budget. Let's just order the food. And it kind of took the wind out of it so quickly that I wasn't able to necessarily back up my stance on it. And since then, obviously, I've thought about it and pondered about it. But it's like, no, I understand there's an aspect of it's in the budget. Let's go ahead and get the food. And that can be a way to serve these men as well.
Well, and I think it's also not putting the weight on too many like single individuals to do all the work,
right,
and serve everybody else, so they get burned out.
Well, it may be nice as a one-off if people wanted to volunteer. If you felt like you could fulfill this need, you could do that. I'm thinking about
cooking a couple briskets isn't hard.
Yeah, brisket. Or have you ever had an ox roast? Anybody? Something from the dim past.
Oxtails?
No, an ox roast where you take a side of beef.
Oh, that might be a little work.
Oh my gosh. That was my uncle used to do that. That was just fantastic. And it would cook in the ground on a bed of coals wrapped in wet burlap for 3 days or something.
Yeah, that might be a
I wish I knew how
What?
I did it. That was just awesome.
Yeah, and I think it
An
all
ox
goes
roast.
It all goes back to we're called to be members of this body of Christ, and not every body part is going to align. Some, may obviously opt more towards a different aspect of it, but it was definitely something where I was like, okay, this may be something that I'm gonna have to step up and not necessarily demand, but kind of push a little bit more to be like, no, I think this is important because one, you're interacting with people. They're seeing that, oh, this person is donating and serving us in a different capacity. And also it's fun. I find it fun to serve people.
It's fun. And that might be something that you would like to teach and share with some other men who've never done it.
Yeah.
And the other men who maybe were shaking their heads no, have never been in a kitchen. They don't know where to begin. They don't know how to cook. They've never watched a video on how to cook. And this is something, personally, I love it when a man cooks.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. And men bring different features to cooking. Like, you're a good cook, Amos, and you try things that are unusual, and you'll fling in a whole bunch of spices, and it's a treat to be with you when you're so hospitable. So there, I'm giving a vote for the men's group. Maybe cooking.
I don't know why she's buttering me up, but
well, I don't want anything from you, Amos. Just trying to be honest.
Well, and to your point though, I think it also seeing that in real time to the other men as well, to be like, oh yeah, no, I want to jump in, and also I also might have that passion. I also might, that's something that has never really been offered. We've always had food, so
right. Well, I'm thinking along those lines. Have you ever done foot washing?
Once before.
Yes.
Okay, in your church history. Did you belong to churches that did a foot washing? That wasn't new to me. I was probably in my 40s before I went to a church gathering where we did a foot washing, and I was very against it.
Okay.
Just because it was new. I didn't understand it. I don't think I want to participate in this.
Yeah, I can.
But I did, and it was awesome because we are servants to each other.
Yeah.
To do something so humble. And I remember at that service, actually, there was one woman there who was a little unusual, and the other women shied away from her. We were just in a women's group. It wasn't men and women. We were just women together doing this, and the one woman, they all shied away from her. And I thought, well, I'll go wash her feet.
Yeah.
It was kind of a humbling thing to do that.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. Get in touch with who you are and who you are in relation to your Savior.
Yeah. I've been to a handful of weddings, not very many in the past couple of years, and two that stand out they actually, the husband and wife, washed each other's feet
Oh.
in front of the whole wedding party. And that was just like, I mean, I'm over here in the front row bawling my eyes out like, oh,
I've been to one wedding like that. And it was lovely and touching.
Yeah. There's, I mean, golly, he set the perfect example. Just all we got to do is just follow his example.
You start out your kid, and like when I was a kid, people used to sing these hymns and songs about a veil of tears, etc. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Life is great. Life is so sweet. We had a lot of hardships when I was a kid, but I had hope.
Yeah.
And I had faith, and I had a good mom. And I thought, life is sweet. It really is. Why do these people sing like this? And now, been through a lot. And last year's been really rough. A lot of people sick, a lot of people dying. It's hard for me to handle this. And I don't need to handle it by myself.
Yeah.
I am so glad I am a Christian, that I had a Christian upbringing and a Christian life.
Yeah. It's
to know my Savior, that he can help me through this.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good foundation.
But life's not worth living, and it's nice. Like a while back, there was that whole rapture thing that happened where...
Oh, yeah, we missed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we missed the rapture. And we were talking about, like...
Do you believe in that stuff?
In that stuff? Hold on.
Ben?
Do I believe in a...
You feel like you missed the rapture or something? No. Okay.
No. But people have that sentiment where it's like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here and like, Jesus, take us home.
Yes.
Like, this world's so terrible. And it's like, it's not... I mean, yeah, there's a lot of terrible things.
Well, what about the Lord's Prayer? Do you pray the Lord's Prayer?
Not daily, but
But do you pray it? The Lord's Prayer?
Occasionally.
Give us this
Thy
daily
kingdom
bread.
come on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to be taken out of here and let people just be consumed?
I think it's short-sighted. I think to believe in a rapture is definitely short-sighted, that you're not just going to turn around and God's going to make a new earth and you're going to be right back here anyway.
But it's the escaping the tribulation part where like we're getting out scot-free.
What makes them think this isn't it?
Right.
We haven't been in it for like 2,000 years.
Yeah, that's another rabbit trail. Yeah.
We've got some hard choices to make as Christians right now.
Yeah.
Think about things instead of being told how to think.
Yeah.
But then I'm a coincidence theorist. So.
No such thing as coincidence.
No.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But
talk to Jung about that.
You're not a rapture person?
No, I'm not. I believe that, well, I've researched a little bit of it about the rapture doctrine, where it comes from, and when it was introduced into the church. And going back into the life of Christ and his apostles, it was not taught then. And the Bible tells us it will be as it was in the days of Noah. And in the days of Noah, the righteous were preserved and the wicked were removed. And I talked to a neighbor of mine whose husband had a ministry at one time, and she said, he used to tell her, he said that when this happens, the wicked people will be removed, but there will be people who will need you. You will need to witness to them about Christ, about Christianity, about the hope that we have in Christ, and minister to their needs, medically, food, whatever. He said, but don't worry, because she worried about it. She said, well, the world's going to be so evil. What's going to happen to me? And he said, no, the wicked will be removed, and the rest will remain. So I believe that. I see that coming. And I call to mind now experience that I had when I was a small child, where I saw this terrible destruction going on. And I was told, there was no one there, but I was told that I would live to see it. So. But not to fear. Not to fear.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing is, you can get wrapped up, and Amos jokes that he's conspiracy theory damaged, traumatized.
He probably is, actually.
I'm a second generation conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And so I'm more of a first generation, But if you follow every single rabbit trail and just get consumed by it, you're living and perpetuating that fear, and you're not really, you had mentioned earlier, not really experiencing, God's love.
Well,
for
maybe
you
you're
now.
not living in that fear. Maybe you're not living in that fear, but you're projecting it toward your children who don't understand how to handle and process all these terrible things you're
Yes.
saying about the
Yeah.
world. So, like, my mom, for example, like, everything's terrible, wicked, horrible. There's a lot of that from our childhood. And she's like, but don't be afraid. It's like, but I'm 5. And the stock market's going to collapse. The economy is going to go bust. And we need to prepare. We're going to get overrun by the heathen from the city. It's like, I'm 5, I'm 8, whatever. Like, I can't process and handle this.
No, I don't think you should be telling a 5-year-old things like that. You can't.
Prepare for the end. It's coming down.
Look, I have a friend who has now passed on, and when she was a young wife and mother, she lived in California, and this is what her husband told her. And he said it was so imminent. This woman actually lost her mind. And she told me herself, she said she was out in the hills digging holes with her hands, burying food, burying potatoes and things and covering it up, and just going all over and digging holes and burying food. And they never found that food again.
Mm-hmm.
She actually completely lost her mind and had a nervous breakdown over this, and it destroyed their family.
Yeah.
What this man was teaching. So it's fear.
Yep.
God has not given us a spirit of fear. It's not right. And you can't do that to your children. Your job is to protect your children.
But also to have a prosperous mindset, where we can take on the world. We can build empires. Like, be prepared for bad situations. But
People prepared for the Lord.
You can live your whole life preparing as much as possible, being a prepper for the end, and then the end never comes. Or the end does come and you get taken out right off the bat with all your preparations. Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Another favorite movie of mine, Tremors.
Oh, I loved her.
Survivalists got taken out.
Gosford Park. No, he didn't.
Didn't they?
No.
Get taken
No,
out?
They
Reba and what's his name? The mustache guy. They
Okay, it's
survived.
been a while.
Yeah.
But
No, they were.
now by Tremors 3. Yeah, I think they were gone.
No. He's the only one who makes it all. He's in every movie just about. The guy with the mustache. I forget his name. He's in every movie.
When did Reva quit?
After the first one, yeah. She's like, he left him. She left him. As preppers' wives often do, they leave them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Or crazy.
So Gosford Park to Tremors, favorite movies. That's definitely an eclectic range.
I'm trying to think. I know you're a movie guy, and I'm trying to think, what are my favorite movies? I don't know. To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the top ones, though. That movie's fascinating because, oh gosh, who wrote that?
Harper Lee.
Harper Lee. She was able to use adult words and terms to speak in the voice of a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's what fascinates me about that book and the portrayal in the movie. I loved it, how they portrayed that.
What do you think of the sequel?
The sequel, something comes a Watchman or something.
Yeah.
It's called. It was thin. It was very thin. I read it. I'm glad that I read it. I kind of feel bad that somebody took that manuscript and published it because it was so incomplete. And I read that book and I lost myself in it here and there. There were a couple places where I lost myself. And then I could see the real Harper Lee and the real book that she intended to write, which was To Kill a Mockingbird. And this gift that she had to tell this story of these children experiencing the world and talking about things and people. We were talking about that the other day about PTSD, shell shock. We were talking about Boo Radley, what he must have been through. It's never really mentioned. And Atticus Finch, it's alluded to that he was somebody.
Like in the war?
In the war.
World War II.
He pulls out the gun and shoots the rabid dog. He had something. He knew something. But then, I suppose back in those days, men hunted more too, but that book fascinated me because it was a child's point of view, but it was told in adult words and beautifully portrayed.
Yeah. There's definitely an interesting range of entertainment at your house.
Yes.
We'll go from Pride and Prejudice to Caveman.
Yes, Caveman.
You ever seen Caveman, Ben?
The movie?
Yeah. I believe it's one of Dennis Quaid's first movies.
Yes, probably. We should invite them over for a movie night to showcase him.
Our kids love it. Yeah.
Invite Dennis Quaid over?
No, invite you over. Yeah. Hey, Dennis Quaid, are you out there? Could you come over to watch a movie with us?
Ringo Starr, Shelley Long, and Dennis Quaid.
And Barbara Bach was in that.
Never seen this before.
And the monster was played by the guy that real tall guy.
And I love me some old movies.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, you'll enjoy this.
you'll enjoy.
It's not a dialogue-heavy movie.
No. Caveman, yeah. Pride and Prejudice. Okay, young men, you need to watch Pride and Prejudice.
Oh,
Which version?
now listen.
You need to watch it.
We watch it probably 3 or 4 times a year.
He's in a house full of girls.
That's true.
And we've seen the zombie version.
Also a good
We've-
movie. I
we've
love
seen-
that. I love that.
Now, I will say I was talking with Katie about it the other day, and she's like, well, have you seen the Bollywood version? And I was like, no, not yet, but golly, I'm going to have to pull it out for the kids. Pride and Prejudice, Little Women. I mean, yeah, we got a house full of girls. Trust me. We've made the gauntlet of...
I'm trying to think of what.
Well, we talked before about how terrible Romeo and Juliet is. So why is Pride and Prejudice so much better as a romance?
Oh, as a romance, I don't know. I'm not the romantic type.
No?
No, it's a good character study, I suppose. She was so
not about
observant. I don't know. I worry about Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy after their marriage, because I figured that it might have spiraled into just arguments every day.
Right?
So kind of
Like-
Scarlett O'Hara,
Mhm.
sort of.
Yeah, the grand passion where they loved each other. Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, loved each other passionately and fought like dogs.
Yeah.
Yes, they brought down the historical epic with Cleopatra as well, because that bond.
But have you ever seen Taming of the Shrew? Speaking of
You showed
Shakespeare,
it to me. I
did
saw
you
that
like
at your
it?
house.
That's another one of my favorite movies.
So, I haven't seen that one.
There's some gems in. You should
That's
watch
not-
that and
that's-
discuss it with your daughters.
Not
Okay.
a very feminist movie.
Depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like let's see, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
Been a long
Okay,
time.
have you seen? Yeah.
That's a good one.
And the young girl wants to marry. Wants to marry this guy who's not Greek, and she wants to marry him. And her father says no,
Yeah.
and the mother says, "Your father is the head, but I am the neck."
Yeah.
So that was another interesting romantic take on real life.
Mamma Mia.
Ugh,
Musicals.
You don't like musicals?
Why?
that was disgusting. The music is fine. ABBA, yes, ABBA.
Okay. For those
Famous.
only listening, she's bowing down. To Abba.
ABBA,
Uh,
thumbs up. Mamma Mia,
Why?
what a load of garbage.
I haven't seen
The storyline's terrible.
the storyline is horrible,
No,
but yeah,
it's awful.
I dislike musicals.
I
It's
obviously
contrived.
the musical is you're hanging out for the music, and so with regards to that, we loved Mamma Mia just for the music.
But I'm the one who doesn't like singing in church, so.
I made Don watch it. I had to tie him down. I'm like, you will watch this, But he loved the music.
Mhm.
He loved the music, and he just sort of ignored the storyline. He got lost in the music, which is really fun.
Did you guys ever watch The Importance of Being Earnest?
Yes.
Love that movie.
But-
Love the play on words of just the word. I mean, even as a young child watching it, I don't know why we even picked it to watch it, but I picked up on those kind of nuances even back then. I was able to watch it with the girls again. Yeah, they were somewhat intrigued. But I was like, no, there's so much more depth
have you researched
Who's
the
the author?
book at all? Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde. Yeah.
You might
He had an
research.
interesting life.
Oh yeah.
Very interesting. But what a clever man, interesting man. Lady Windermere's Fan is another play that I really like.
I just love a good, witty, just thought out production of any
Jeeves
sort.
and Worcester.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
Oh my
Oh, no?
gosh, Jeeves and Worcester.
He's a butler. That's
Yes,
a butler
he's a
show.
butler, and
It's,
that's hilarious.
Hugh Laurie and Fry.
Who wrote Jeeves and Worcester?
Well, it's Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry, which are a great comedy team. But
Oh, yeah. Okay.
the books are fascinating. But that's a great movie, a great series.
But you you like episodic television.
Yes, like, well, you pinned me down. You didn't. You kind of labeled me and put me in my little box.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, because I like stories about people, right?
Yeah.
You were sort of not psychoanalyzing me, but sort of looking at yeah, you did this a couple years ago.
Thank you. You're such a breath of fresh air on this podcast.
Thank you, Ben. I love
Because
you too.
I don't know how to put words to it, but that's exactly what Amos does
Psychoanalyzing.
all the time.
Sorry, maybe psychoanalyzing. Gosh, I'm putting you in a box.
All right.
I'm curious why this is so obvious to you.
No. Go back. Episodic. I'm with you on the episodic.
Because I like people, and we talked about this before,
That's not
liking people or
episodic.
something. Episodic? No. It's a continuing story.
No, that's serialized. Episodic is when you reset the status quo with each episode, and so things go back to normal. So like your detective series where they find the murderer.
Oh,
and
then
then
they
like,
go.
so Midsummer.
Midsummer Murders?
Midsummer Murders. That's
Ooh.
very episodic.
Oh, it certainly is.
Jeeves and Wooster is very episodic. Who's the monk who was solving
Brother
mystery?
Cadfile.
Very episodic.
Okay, yeah.
Or Cadfile.
And you like-
Please bring back the Brother Cadfile.
You like your British
Call to action.
television.
Yes, I know.
Why do
YouTube
you-
doesn't know what to do with me because I have all my weird interests.
Why do you like British television?
I suppose it's thoughtful, but I'm watching older British television. I don't read very much modern fiction, and I don't have internet at home, so I'm careful kind of what I watch. Watch a lot of videos, but I don't like dirty, filthy things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like uplifting, interesting. I like true stories, biographical things.
But people. Like you like
I'm a
interactions.
people person.
You
I'm
like-
a people person.
I love British television for some reason.
Downton Abbey?
I've always loved it.
Downton Abbey's okay. Julian Fellows wrote that. Julian Fellows wrote Gosford Park.
Okay.
Okay, smart man. And do you visualize who you would have around the dinner table when you had your, what do you call that? Like fantasy football. You have your fantasy team, or have a dinner party with any guest you could have.
Okay.
Who would you have? Who would you have at a dinner table? Like 6 people.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive, Amos? Come on.
Alive.
Alive? Okay, 6 people.
Yeah, darn, I know. 5 or 6 people, like over to your house and give them some nice rye and.
Well, I would have Jane.
Oh, thanks. Cool. I would have you, Amos.
Thank you.
Wes
Ben,
Huff.
Ben, you can.
Wes Huff.
Wes Huff. We
Okay.
definitely have him.
James Corbett, you're invited. You don't even know who
Really?
that is.
James Corbett.
James Corbett. The Corbett Report. Solutions Watch.
Okay.
Not a doom and gloomer. This is a man who's seeking answers. James Corbett, we would have Julian Fellows. I would like him to come. Can I have Sam Hewen too?
I don't know. 6 is a
It depends on the type of party that you're going for, because different
murder mystery.
people are going to job
Well, Julian Fellows
others.
and James Corbett, they're on completely different spheres. Maybe Mrs. Julian Fellows, if he's coming, she could come too. And Mr. and Mrs. James Corbett. I'm trying to think who else I would have. There are no sportsmen.
Mhm.
Not into sports. I don't know.
Even the way you say it. Sportsman.
I'm pretty good with trivia, but not.
Maybe if they play
sports.
polo or something.
I don't even know about polo. My father-in-law was a polo player.
Really?
Yes, it was Katie's grandpa, famous polo.
Okay.
My-
I've heard it's a dangerous sport.
Not for him.
That's in horses.
Granny said when she saw him in his polo outfit and saw what great legs he had, she was like, "Wow!" Like, love the first.
What
study.
does the polo outfit look like?
It's got the
jumpers
You
or
have the thing right there. The looker upper.
he's the looker upper? That thing there. Here's a high tech
That's,
podcast.
I mean, you're gonna have like I'm assuming they have a polo.
That is not a polo
shirt,
outfit.
add a
Ben.
horse.
Keep going. Not polo. Polo outfits for women. No.
Why does it not What?
No,
Whoa.
no.
Okay. There. Boots, jodhpurs.
Yeah.
He had great legs.
Yeah, you definitely got to have the legs for it. Got to wear those high
And the
boots.
horse, she said he and the horse were one. And she was a horsewoman, so she just loved it.
So when a woman sees a man controlling a powerful beast,
What? Huh?
I think of the puffy pants
Puffy pants.
that kind of go out, right?
isn't that a military thing?
Well,
I'm assuming it came out of.
it's horse riding. You got to have some room to move, and then your legs, you have boots on to ride and so that your
Imagine that
feet don't get stuck in the stirrups or whatever.
riding a horse with a stick, a club.
Yeah.
It's like golfing with a horse, and other people are trying to hit the ball.
And Grandpa was like ambidextrous too. He could play
More
left
like
or right.
like hockey mixed with.
Hockey on horseback. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds horrible.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've heard it was very, very dangerous.
Hello.
It's got to be exhilarating.
Polo players, please check in.
Yeah, right.
Comments are welcome.
It's also not a cheap man's sport either.
No, you got to have upkeep of a horse.
But there now, that's more research I have to do. I have to figure out what's the history of polo, because maybe it was just a thing that people did.
Well, they probably weren't allowed to joust anymore.
Like,
that I bet you there was definitely a lot of that. Like, hey, we're not jousting anymore. We got to get rid of this.
let's hit a little ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We get big clubs and hit little ball.
I as well am gonna have to do a deep dive on the history of polo, the sport of polo.
Grandpa went hunting one time though, and he had on a tweed jacket and +4s, which are kind of like knickerbockers.
Okay.
Americans call them knickerbockers. And then he had on really nice socks and leather shoes, and he had great legs. And he walked through the living room, and I just kind of went, wow. And Granny was sitting there, and she goes, I know. And he was so embarrassed.
Oh god.
Like, man, he had good looking legs.
Huh.
Did he not hold babies?
This is true. And this is the big old family story, which is
And 5 children,
you
right?
can carry down. Oh, they had five children, yes. And he did not hold babies. That was somebody else did that. And then we have a picture of him holding Katie as a little baby. And the one day we were all in the kitchen, and Katie was a little over 1 year old or something, and she was crying. And you know how they do? They put their hands up. They come to you and they just go, like that. So she went to Grandpa, and he was, you poor little thing. And he picked her up, and Granny almost fainted because he never picked up babies. But by the next generation,
They wore him down.
yeah, he started.
You soften up a little bit. You're like, oh.
He was a man's man, and he related to his sons as men, as adults. As children, he had a hard time with some things. But when they were men, they just were on a par with him. Very, very great.
What do you think about toxic masculinity?
What's that?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd give me a definition.
Toxic masculinity. Maybe that's the flip side of femininity,
Okay.
where people are trying too hard to prove who they are. I don't know, because I like men who are men. I like manly men.
What does that mean, though? Manly men.
Manly men. I'm only thinking of it in terms of the negative, and we can't do that. Well, I suppose all kinds of people, and men especially, are attractive when they are comfortable with who they are. But I do like a man who opens doors for me, is considerate,
So chivalry.
chivalrous, sensible, sense of place. A man who cooks, man in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's nice. Toxic masculinity, I guess, would be a guy who just throws his weight around and says, well, I'm the man and you should listen to me. That's not attractive at all. Why should I listen to you just because you're a man?
Well, it's not earned.
True. See, there's Amos. He's able to put it into words. You're the
Sometimes.
you're the word guy. No, you do good. You do a good job. You helped me out years ago. I was going through a bad time, and you looked at me very wisely, and you said you're suffering from decision burnout. You're suffering from
Decision fatigue.
And I had never heard of that before, and I thought, yeah, that's it.
Huh.
Something like that.
I guess I say something okay every now and then.
Yes, you do. You're able to put into words concepts. I'm not always good at that. Like I was hesitant to do this podcast because I thought, what do I have to say? Or how do I express myself? I might just get all tongue-tied and embarrass myself.
No.
Because you're the guy. You're able to take thoughts and put them into words. And I've read your writing and seen your work, and I enjoy it very much.
She goes buttering me up again. I wouldn't have invited you on if I didn't think you would be able to hold your own in the conversation. I would even dare to say that you probably partially inspire this podcast.
Really?
Yes, because
Why?
well, the concept was that when you're sitting around the kitchen table or the campfire at a Bible camp or whatever, and you're just talking about shit, whatever Christians get up to talking about, whether it's the Bible or the world or entertainment or anything else. And we did a lot of that with you guys at your house. So
That's true, and we loved it. And I love having like people around the dinner table and to talk about things, which is like why it would be fun to have a group of various people just to talk. Like you're doing with your podcast.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm like, what subjects have we covered tonight?
South Africa, travel, pretending you're Canadian, entertainment, polo,
femininity, children, grandchildren, being a mother. We're kind of all over the place. Movies. Yeah, which is kind of fun. Makes it worthwhile. But that means you have to take time out from your busy day, too. Too many people just work too hard and then they zone out in front of the tube or something.
Or listen to us.
They need to listen to you and then go talk to their friends, invite their friends.
There you go.
Well, you need to get on the internet and get on the horn and start promoting.
Does this mean I have to get involved with social media?
Yeah,
Me?
I'm still staying away from it. And Ben's like, how come you're not posting on your personal feed? So I don't have a personal feed.
No, that's not what it is. It's more of a joint collective.
I know,
begrudging both of us because we both come from that era of like, we realize how toxic this can really be, but how else are people going to find us? I don't know.
I'm finding a difficulty in my private life with things that I do, little ventures of service-oriented projects. We can't get people to come off the couch and do anything.
Yeah.
Advertise, and nobody pays any attention.
You mean like in the community, like county extension world, or what do you mean?
In my community, the various things that I do, I work with the arts and
the theater.
Pardon me?
The theater.
The theater. The theater. Yes, theater and art involved things. Do fundraisers, a lot of fundraisers and things, and people sewing, another interest of mine. You advertise by every means, which is what? Facebook. That's really big in my town. People, that's how they find out what's going on, supposedly. And then the newspaper, the radio, TV ads. That doesn't work in our area too much. But no, still, we've held a couple events, and the people who came by word of mouth.
Yeah.
So I'll go home and tell all my friends to listen to your podcast.
You
we'll see if the numbers go up.
There'll be the spike in Arkansas.
One little fire at a time. We'll just take this on the road to go from state to state.
Yay! Can you tell who's watching or where they're watching from? Where they're watching?
Nationally, yes.
Yeah. It's.
Do you want some international people? Should I?
Sure.
We've got one guy in Russia.
Yay! Hello, Russia. I want to come and visit.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but not right now. I would love to see Russia.
So you have like with say the community support or like, I mean, what kind of specific things are you involved with?
The art gallery, different art shows, our quilt show, which is a fundraiser
The people who do participate, what demographic would you say they're in?
Well, music. I'm in because Don's a musician, and I try and help promote things that he's involved in. A lot of people love live music, and there are people who want to dance. I don't know if you guys can believe that, but yes, there are people who dance, and people don't come out as much to do things. They've discovered the ability to watch a video or stay home. And people say things to me like, well, we were going to come to the concert, but it was raining, so we stayed home. It's an indoor concert, okay. They just don't want to participate. And I don't quite understand it.
Was there a generational divide?
No, it's across all generations. And some of the younger people are a little better to come out, I think, just because they want more experiences. Good. And if they, I know a lot of young people from work with the theater and the arts, and they just love being together.
Yeah.
And then so many young people, they love the attention of older people. They want somebody, because I kind of mom people here and there, or I'm a big sister, maybe. I don't know. But they want that. It's probably a sense of family. But you're learning new things and you're experiencing things. Who wants to sit at home all the time? It's lonely and it's boring. How do you meet people?
I've got a group of youth boys that come out to the house. Most of the time, they wouldn't even accept the money even if I didn't pay them. And they just love coming out there and learning new things. And I'm like, dude, this is like, we're going to work hard today. Like we're going to be sweating. They're like, yeah, can we do it again?
Great.
And it's like, okay, cool. I can't really say the same when I was that age. I don't think I would have been that eager to go.
What did get you out of the house or off the couch? What did you run to do? What did you hope to do?
You know what? I think once I started driving, that was probably that my kids' generation, it isn't as important to drive as quickly. Yeah, there's a weird. I find my 16-year-old just got her permit. She'll have her license by December. But like it took a little convincing to be like, no, you need to drive. You need to learn how to drive.
You had to convince your child to start driving?
Yeah. But I remember being that age and couldn't wait to get out there on the road and then probably just to go meet up with friends or just to drive. Yeah.
I remember being like 13, 14 and it was like nowhereville. You're not a kid, but you can't drive. That driving thing was a dividing line.
Yeah.
You're still not an adult, but you're cool. You can do things.
Well, these kids now have access to all their friends online or whatever the case may be, or they're living in their own little different bubbles.
Yeah.
Years ago, probably in the 90s, I read a magazine article about the home of the future and how everybody was going to be staying in their home, communicating with their friends. And I thought, that will never be. Who'd want to live like that? That's so boring. Wow. It's happening now. And instead of going to an event, we'll just watch the video when it's posted, or we'll check in on Facebook or Instagram to see what everybody's doing.
Yeah, because the dopamine's the same.
Yeah.
Now, there's all the other chemicals that come along with it that you don't get, like oxytocin and whatnot from the actual, communing with others. But you get the same dopamine dump and we all get fried.
When you were a kid, did you believe that there was a thing called the generation gap? Did you ever hear about that?
I never thought about it that way because, with my dad, we were homeschooled and we traveled around. He was a pastor. So I was oftentimes more comfortable with people above my age group. I'm still kind of uncomfortable with my age group, especially when Ben's over there, like making me do things and
Amos.
But so yeah, I've always been more comfortable with the age group above me or higher. Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I thought this generation gap stuff's a bunch of nonsense because I liked older people and I liked everybody.
Yeah.
And I got along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to get along with people. I tried to. And now that I'm older, I see that there is such a thing as a generation gap.
But also we grow up in schools where you're shoved into classes with your exact same age. Everyone's the same age. Whereas, back in the day when you had the single room schoolhouse, all the grades were interacting together and you weren't isolated.
Well, that's one of the things with, being a homeschool parent. That's the number one criticism is shame on you because you're not allowing your children to be socialized. Like, what? You've got it backwards.
Yeah.
They're with people of all different age groups.
I mean, if you just keep them at home and never go anywhere, then yeah, you are isolating them, but you don't do that.
No.
You go out and live life. And
yeah, live your life and interact. Takes a village. Takes a village and build your community.
When my mother was very ill before she died, and the children were young teenagers, we used to go over to her house and I would take care of her, and the kids would go and help do some dishes and tidy up and maybe read to her and tell her what they were doing in school. And I couldn't have done it if I hadn't been homeschooling. But I was able to do that. And even to go to the hospital, the kids would go with me and wait in the waiting room when my mother was hospitalized right before she died. And, people are like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't show things like that to your children. Your mother's so sick or whatever.
Right.
And I said, she's their grandmother. Yeah. This is a fact of life. And I don't know how to handle it either, but I was able to care for my children through this. And I think that they valued that, the brief experiences that they had.
Yeah, well, when you isolate them from death and real life and even where their food comes from.
Yes. Right. Doesn't come in plastic from the grocery store.
I remember we had goats when we were kids, and some public schooler, this girl, she came out to the house and she saw the goats and she's like, "What's hanging from its butt?" I was like, it's udder.
And what'd you say?
Like, that's where the milk comes from. And she's like, milk comes from the grocery store. Like, legit, that's what she said.
Yes. Well, they don't know. It's pretty sad.
Who was it? Someone in your family, they made the squirrel soup. Who was that?
Squirrel soup.
Squirrel soup. Aunt Mary made squirrel soup.
I got some Cajuns over there in Ohio.
No. So you want to hear the whole story? Oh my golly. Okay. So Aunt Mary called us to come up to the farm to have lunch and talk about some family business and things. And she said, I'll make lunch. And she always had lunch ready right at 12 o'clock. So she said, I'll make lunch. She said, I've got this fantastic soup that I want to make. And I said, oh, I'll bring a salad. Oh, great. That would be really nice of you. And so we get up to the farm and the whole family's somewhere else. And she and I are in the kitchen and we're getting lunch ready. And she said, you are going to love this soup. You are not going to believe how good this soup is. And I said, really, what's the secret ingredient? And she turned around and she said, squirrels. And I was like, what? I'm picturing rats dunked into hot water or something. And she said there were some hunters and trappers who were on the farm, who used the farmland. And they brought her some of the squirrels that they had, or they had squirrels, and they made broth out of them. They cooked the meat and made broth, and they gave her some of the broth, and she put it in vegetable soup. So she was calling it vegetable soup with squirrel broth. And I was kind of horrified because I thought my family will not eat this. Mm-hmm. That's not a clean food.
You've talked about the fact that, like, our family doesn't eat pork, or we keep biblical food laws, in your family.
Biblical food laws, so. And that squirrel didn't kind of fit into that. But she's my aunt. She was 90 years old, and I couldn't do that to her. So we went in to sit around the table with my cousin, my aunt, my family, and we all bowed our heads to say grace. And I don't know. I can't even explain it, how bad I felt. But I had my hand on my husband's leg, and we said grace, and I squeezed his leg, and he knew. He just knew there was something in that soup. He just knew. And fortunately, it was a tiny little bowl of soup, very small, but it was still. And Stuart wouldn't talk to me for days after that. that I did that to him. So
You're just unclean until the evening.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, this lasted for days. But I couldn't do that to Aunt Mary. She already thought I was weird because I followed the Bible food laws.
I have a question. Why do people think Ohio's weird?
Who thinks Ohio's weird, Amos?
Well, we're having a
podcast.
I guess there's a youth thing where we were talking to a youth pastor, and she was saying that, or we were going through Gen Z lingo. And there was one about like, oh, that's so Ohio or something.
That's so Ohio. Means it's weird, cringy, or odd. Now, okay, well, that's AI. What does AI know? They just make up stuff.
Well, it's derived from.
It's not saying that it's not wrong.
Only in
Ohio. That's probably from a sitcom or something. Only in Ohio.
So why would they think people from Ohio are weird?
I don't know, but I have noticed a trend lately when there is something extremely weird going on. It has taken place in Ohio. Just lately in the news, weird things, deaths and murders and stuff, and it's in Ohio. I don't know, because Ohio's the heart of it all. We're Mideast. We're not Midwest.
Well, I know a lot of good people from Ohio, but they all left Ohio. So
I love Ohio. Ohio history and Ohio people, Ohio countryside. You know, I grew up in a rural area.
Isn't there a famous like callback that you guys do? Like you say, "Oh hi," or
well, no, that's when you cross the Ohio River. If you're a truck driver, especially, and you cross the Ohio River, they'll say, "Do you know what Ohio means?" That big old sign says Ohio. It means okay, hand it over. Because there's always a bunch of state patrol right there, you know, to get you to pull you over.
Gotcha.
Okay, hand it over. So,
okay.
I don't know. Ohio gets confused with Idaho a lot, or Iowa.
Iowa's just
Iowa, just corn.
That's just corn.
We get it confused.
We're just gonna insult all the states tonight, aren't we?
Listen.
Well, it's just two. So
listen.
Except I had fun when I was overseas. I would mispronounce Ohio words a lot because people were always fascinated, and they thought that we were still like on the frontier here with cowboys and stuff like that. And I would just feed right into that. And then I would tell them where I was from in Ohio, and I would mispronounce words like Tuscarawas County, and
is that the correct pronunciation, or how would you?
That is the correct pronunciation. So I would Tuscarawas and Gnadenhutten. And just like change words, you know, the Indian names of place names in Ohio. And the people are like, wow. And their eyes would get really big. So that was kind of bad, but it was awful fun.
Yep.
That's an Americanism right there. Colloquialism. Awful fun. Meaning it was good. Yep. How bad was it? Bad? How bad was it? It was pretty bad. That would stop people. Over in South Africa, that would stop. And British people just stop, and they're like, what do you mean pretty and bad? That doesn't make sense.
It's like
colloquialism.
It's like fixing to?
Fixing to, yeah.
Very Southern.
I'll mosey on over tomorrow. I know people who still mosey.
Y'all were a very like language-centric family. Like you did a lot of crossword type stuff, or like very knowledgeable with words.
Well, we like to read, and I know Katie had a lot of problems reading as a child, and then she started reading Charles Dickens, and I didn't believe her. I said, you know, she read Our Mutual Friend.
Also a great movie.
Also a great, yeah, that's another one, tops on the list.
Masterclass. Or no, it's not
Masterpiece
Masterclass.
Theater, probably. Yeah. And she read Our Mutual Friend, and I remember standing there and saying, you could not possibly have read that book, because she had reading issues. And she said, yes, I did. You know, which she sort of exhibited honesty by sticking up for herself.
She'll get torqued when you question.
Oh, I said, no, you couldn't have, because she couldn't read. And we struggled.
She couldn't read.
She struggled to read.
That one was a little
I opened the book. I opened the book like this, and I said, "Okay, what happened when?" And she answered me. So I opened it in some other place, and I did a couple of them. And I'm like, "Wow, you did read it. You do." And she comprehended what she read, and it was some change in her that took place, where she was able to read and comprehend what she was reading. It synced. So any parents out there who are having trouble with their children reading, please have hope. And
so when you hit that desire point for knowledge.
And see, she got into that story. She had seen the movie, I believe, but the book has way more in it, way more characters. Mm-hmm. And she got very involved in all these characters and what they were doing.
Well, and I think that's partly why we personally homeschool our girls, is to not burn out what I think so many public school kids just don't want to learn anymore, because they don't know, maybe they don't know how to learn, and it's kind of just been forced out of them. But like instilling that continual learning, like, hey, you're going to learn till the day you die. Yeah, you are in this quote unquote school era where we're sitting you down and making you do certain things to learn, but to kind of find that balance of, okay, you still have your regimented, curriculum of what you're learning, but what do you really want to learn about? And It's okay to deep dive in to learn something different.
And I've noticed recently, just dealing with 20-something people, say in a shop situation, they can't communicate. Mm-hmm. And I think it must be that people never talked to them as they were growing up. Maybe they were left alone.
Also perpetually online.
Yeah. So you're constantly hearing things, but you're not asked to reply. Mm-hmm. I mean, yourself, if you play some sort of a video game, the answer eventually just shows up. Something will show up. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you're on a path.
Yeah,
that's guided for you already.
But like we're communicating right now. You've asked me questions. I've asked you questions, mm-hmm. and you have to think about your answer, and then you have to formulate an answer, and that's a part of growing up and growing. And my mother was a very wordy person. She was a well-educated person, very gifted in many ways, and didn't need a dictionary at home, because I would just say, hey, Mom, how do you spell whatever?
Yeah.
Or she knew things, and she would explain things to us. And that's just who we are. Yeah. It comes down through the generations. Mark Twain is good to read, too. Mm-hmm. Like if you like the classics and his figures of speech, his observations.
He doesn't say skibbity.
Skibbity?
Skibbity.
Skibbity. Who says skibbity?
The Utes.
The Utes? Okay.
My Cousin Vinny, also a good movie.
My Cousin Vinny, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, no? You'd like that.
Would I?
Maybe the censored version.
Oh?
Yeah, maybe get the TV edit.
TV edit, yes. That probably would be better for me. Yes. I only go so far. I don't like that dirty stuff.
Oh, cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah. This has been an honor.
We should end on a joke.
Oh, dear.
A joke?
What kind of a joke?
My favorite joke from
Oh, no. Which one? I can think of two.
You can tell both of them, and we'll see if you get it. See if you get it right.
Which joke, Amos? What's your favorite joke? Was it the one about the coffee?
No.
No? Because I told Ben, Ben made coffee, which was just wonderful. Thank you. And I said that it's biblical. It is biblical that the men have to make the coffee. And it says so in the Bible in big letters. It says Hebrews.
Yeah.
It's not that one.
It's not that one? It really put me on the spot. What, does it involve frogs?
That's one of them.
Or a dentist?
No, the kissing one.
The kissing one. Oh, no, I can't do that. It's too embarrassing.
Well, some people will just be listening, so.
Oh, some people will be listening. Oh, no. My family might disown me. You might be the only family I have left if I tell it. Okay. See if I haven't told this for a long time. I have to remember it. All right, I'll do it, but you can't put it on the air. There was a little girl, and very inquisitive child, and she went to her mother and she goes, Mommy, when am I going to get kissed? And her mother said, Now, you're far too young to be thinking about things like that. I can't even look at you. You're far too young to be thinking about things like that. Don't even think about it. Someday you'll be kissed. And she grew and she became a little older, and she went to her mom and she says, "Gosh, Mom, when am I going to get kissed?" And her mother said, "Now you just need to stop worrying about this. This is the sort of thing, one day it'll happen and you'll be kissed. So don't stop worrying about it." Well, sure enough, a few years passed and she was sitting on the porch swing with a young man. And she looked at him with the eyes of love. She says, "Gosh, that's the first time I've ever been kissed." And he looked at her and he goes, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah, doesn't really translate on a
Okay, the joke isn't that funny. He's laughing at the faces that I just made. That's what he's laughing at.
I just like your delivery.
You have a great delivery. That's a great one.
I think I was 14 when I heard that joke.
Really?
Sometimes it was really long.
I'm not sure that's PC anymore.
No, it's probably not. I call it the orthodontist's dream. Imagine their children.
Should we save the frog joke for next time?
Yes. When's your birthday, Ben? I'll tell you the frog joke for your birthday present.
June.
June. Okay, I'll see you in June.
All right. We'll have you back.
Oh, all right. Well, cool.
I'm so glad you can edit this.
You don't realize I don't like editing.
I know you don't like editing. You do a lot of it.